You're watching TelecomTV. I'm Martyn Warwick. We are in California, in San Francisco, downtown San Francisco, at the Moscone Center at IDF 2014. That is the Intel Developer Forum. And I'm talking with David Formisano, who is the Director of Strategy, the IoT group, the Internet of Things group at Intel. David, welcome. Thanks for talking to us. We're in bright sunshine. It's a lovely day after a week of cloud.
Absolutely. Wonderful day and exciting to be talking to you as well.
Well, I'm glad you're here because I read from recent research that by 2020, 7 years' time, 6.5 years' time, there are going to be more than 50 billion devices connected to the cloud and each other. Now, that's a huge business opportunity. It's also an enormous challenge to the networks and the systems that are going to carry this. So let's begin at the beginning. What is the Internet of Things and how are you going to do this?
Well, the Internet of Things is an evolution of taking everyday objects as well as smart devices, connecting them to the Internet so that you can get sensor data and other data that provides insights that are actionable for a business or brand new experiences for the user. And taking that on enables new streams of revenue for businesses, new streams of revenue for the entire value chain as the Internet of Things starts taking off. And as you said, by 2020, 50 billion connected devices, there's trillions of dollars of opportunity at stake.
Now, tell me about Intel's approach to and strategy for the Internet of Things.
Well, at IDF, we talked about 5 key tenets that we think are absolutely critical to successful IoT deployments. And they start with security. The Internet of Things provides access to data and sensor data that needs to be both secure and potentially private at times. And so it's founded in a root of security. Above that, you have manageability and provisioning of all these different devices. They have to be managed. Different protocols are coming off all these different sensors, and they have to go over the network, so you need to normalize these protocols. Then you need a broad analytics capability that enables you to look at analytics at the edge, in the network, and in the data center. And finally, you need the right APIs so that people can access that data, monetize it, and actually take those actions that are transforming the business.
Okay. What about the music's building, of course, just in time for the big payoff here. What sort of solutions then is Intel working on now? What do you have, for example, a developer's kit? What do you have in the works?
Absolutely. So we've got a couple of different things. We start with developer kits. This is a developer conference, and so we're offering multiple developer kits to meet a wide range of developer needs, from very entry level or the maker hobbyist up to the professional developer. And these kits come with tools and optimized software stacks specifically designed for IoT. They also connect back into the cloud so you can start running analytics right away. But we don't just stop at the developer kits. We have a suite of products that include gateways, which provide aggregation points and entry into the network. And into the network gateways. We also have data center infrastructure, security software, tools, and other types of analytics software that are helping our customers in our ecosystem really deploy end-to-end solutions for IoT.
Now, these days, no company, no matter how large, can do everything at once in the way people used to 20, 30 odd years ago. I presume that's the same with Intel. I know you're working in partnership and collaboration with other companies. Tell us something about that. How does it work? How successful is it?
Absolutely. The Internet of Things is so broad and reaches different vertical market segments. And from sensor all the way to cloud, hardware through software, it's literally impossible for any one company to have every asset needed to deploy a customer solution. And so Intel's working with companies like GE, Cisco, IBM, and AT&T. We are in partnership with them at this conference and with a bunch of different customers worldwide. The kinds of things we're doing, an example would be with AT&T. They have an M2X platform, they call it, for the Internet of Things, and we're working with them to make sure that our Intel-based gateways securely and easily connect into their M2X platform so that data from machines can go through the network and into the data center.
Thank you. Any other success stories you can tell us about?
Well, we've got a lot of great demonstrations and success stories here at the show. A couple that are worth noting is we have a smart city demo that's measuring air pollution, taking air quality monitoring in the cities of London and Dublin, and bringing that back to the city so that they can do analytics and understand what's driving, street by street level air quality problems within their cities, and then make changes to the way they manage the city to improve that. Another really kind of interesting example is where you can take everyday objects, make them intelligent, and connect them to the internet to do new things. And one here is from SteadyServe, and it's a connected beer keg. So the old way of it's fantastic. The old way of testing if a beer keg was empty or full is just to lift it. Sure. But by putting sensors on it, you can understand how many pours are left, and you can know before it runs out of beer that it is, and see what your best sellers are, and be prepared with the right inventory to maximize sales. And they're working with both the restaurateurs and the beer distribution to really transform how beer kegs are delivered and how people consume.
Well, we'll make sure we film some of that later. A couple of other points I'd like to make there, David, if I might. This is great. It's a huge number of individual things that are going to be connected to the internet through the cloud in this way. It's going to put a lot of pressure on existing networks. It's going to put pressure on the service providers themselves to be able to manage this. And it also is another challenge for them in terms of how are they going to monetize it. So what's Intel's answer to that?
Well, you're making some great points. There are a number of challenges with today's infrastructure and the transformations that are going on within the telecom industry, and then add 50 billion connected devices and a whole new set of machine data that has to be secured, managed, and running through the network. What it really means is the network architecture needs to be able to be agile enough to handle that machine data, and the service providers need to be in a position to be able to do that profitably and extract value from moving that data securely and providing the right services on top of that data. So Intel's working with telecommunications manufacturers and folks within the ecosystem, as well as the service providers, to bring things like network function virtualization and software-defined infrastructure to the market so that these networks can be agile and ready for machine data.
Fascinating. A lot of things are going to happen in the next few years. We're going to go now and take a look at some of your demos, but in the meantime, David Formisano, thank you very much indeed.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here.